Then that the general to know of the podcast. You keep your body clean, man. Yeah.
Being really comfortable with all of that thing. You know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I want to congratulate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real.
Yeah. I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke. Man, I'm looking at the screen like preach. Cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that he getting up there and keeping it all the way phone. He ain't, what them little niggas be saying? He ain't cloud chase, he ain't capping, he ain't doing none of that. Like, he ain't trying to make himself look, you know, he letting his legacy. Y'all already know what it is. You heard me. It's a little bit before 5:04, but y'all do know how it go. It's P.NUT the General, to know the podcast. You keep your body clean, huh? Yeah. It's real. It's real. You heard me? Okay. We kicking Southern Soul Week off. What Southern Soul Week is, right? Is okay. I don't know if it's a new genre, you heard me, or if I'm late. You dig? But you heard me. I discovered it, you know. Well, I'm previous to it now, and I'm trying to be down. You understand me? So we got my first guest in here. We kicking it off. You heard me? It's his story. So I'm gonna let him tell it without no further ado. What's on with your buddy, baby?
What up with it, bro? How you doing today, man?
It's good. I hope you're having a very, very two-nuller day so far. You heard me? Now, before we get into it, you heard me? You want to shout your people out first, you heard me? Or you want to get straight into it, you heard me?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jones Boys Entertainment, JBE and the family, you heard me? Gita Jones, all my people over there at the label, man, and shout out to Alexandria, Louisiana, you heard me?
You already know. Say, I don't mean no disrespect, you heard me? But you the most thugged out Southern Soul singer or artist or whatever I ever seen, you heard me? Like, we the boot is in the building, you heard me? The boot is in the building. So let me ask you this, you heard me? Streetport by the way of Alexandria, you heard me? But you jumped off the porch at Streetport or Alexandria?
Alexandria, man. I started doing my thing there. I've been all over the state of Louisiana doing my thing with the rap game.
No. I'm talking about childhood, like where you grew up at, where you jumped off the porch.
Okay.
Yeah, we
so
going to the beginning.
To the beginning. I'm going all the way to the beginning. Okay.
Yes,
I was born in Lake Charles. All my family's from Alexandria, so moved back and forth from Alexandria to Lake Charles all my life, and then I got to high school. I moved back to Alexandria and stayed there, and that's where everything is rooted at for me.
Yes, sir. So for the surrounding areas and the people that's the onlookers from out of town, you heard me? Coming up in Alexandria and Lake Charles, you heard me? Was it violent? Was it quiet? You know what I'm saying? Was it ghetto? You know what I'm saying? Was it country? And it was tripping, they living like that. In your experiences, you heard me? How was it coming up in Lake Charles and Alexandria? You heard me?
It was all of that. It was all of those things on any given day. You know what I'm saying? It could be quiet. It could be country. It could be ghetto stuff, and anything could pop off wherever you at in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? You just have to kind of know how to move. And being that I've stayed in so many different places in Louisiana, I just kind of know how to move, so I can survive in any given situation. You know what I'm saying?
If you could live in the booth, you could live anywhere.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's different here, man.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, you heard me? You come from music. You was kind of born into this. You heard me? Dad played the saxophone. Mom played at the church, right? Did you understand you had a duty to do music? Like, since it's in your blood, you was born in it, you know what I'm saying? Did you feel like you had a duty to do music? Like, had to do music, or you just had the love for it like that? You hear me?
Well, when you come from that type of family tree, that type of heritage, is really in you. Like music has always been a part of my life. Music is a soundtrack to my life. So you can play any song from any time period, and it'll trigger a memory for me. Because any given day you can be at choir rehearsal with your mom, then come home and your dad got the jazz band rehearsing in the living room. I have two older sisters, and we're all 7 years apart. So you imagine the different type of music they listen to. Like my older sister, she's Madonna and the Barges and Prince, and then got my middle sister. She's 90s R&B and hip hop. So I was always rooted around music. And then when I was a little boy and they had to watch me, and they propped me in front of the TV, MTV and BET played music all day. You got rock and roll and country in the morning. You got Yo MTV raps in the afternoon, and at night you waiting on Video Soul to come on. So I just always had a love for music because it was always around, and it was, so much different music that I take it all in, and, I know how it's supposed to sound. Now, of course, with my parents being musicians, they wanted me to learn the instrument. And I did try. I play a lot of instruments at a beginner's level because I hate the learning process of it. Because, you got to learn all your scales and this and all of that. And it would be so aggravating because I know what this instrument is supposed to sound like. How do I make it sound like that? You know what I'm saying? Show me how to play this chromatic scale and these major chords and all of that, man. I don't have time to learn it. I know how it's supposed to sound. So it gets aggravating to me. So I never really fully learned how to play an instrument, but it's just in me, man. I love music, top to bottom.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You heard me, Sue. Like you was starting to say earlier. You heard me. You started off rapping. You heard me, but how you put it, you see what I'm saying? You always ended up in the right places at the right time. You heard me. Can you elaborate on that? You heard me, 318, baby.
Okay, so. Fresh out of high school, I moved to Beaumont. I had a sister who was in Beaumont, so I moved to Beaumont and was working at Walmart briefly, and they all like their music screwed and chopped in Texas. So I went and bought the program on the computer and learned how to do it on the computer. You got the DJ program and was screwing and chopping music and making mixtapes to make money. You know what I'm saying? And then one guy was like, "Oh, well, you need to get a mic and start talking on this." So I got a mic, and the first thing I did was started rapping on it, and they loved it. So I was getting ready to go to Southern University in Baton Rouge, and I recorded a little mixtape. So when I went to school, I had something to make some money real quick when I hit the yard. You know what I'm saying? And immediately, of course, we started doing the freestyle Fridays at school and all of that when everybody comes to the yard. But linked up with a guy from Lafayette, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna take you to the real studio." And end up going to the studio, and he takes me to Lafayette to Laftex Records. And basically Laftex Records was the studio between Houston and Louisiana. So all the major Houston artists would come down that I-10 corridor, and when they have shows in Louisiana, they come to that studio, get their show mixes, record there. So I was always in the studio with big names, all the big Houston rappers.
Not to cut you off. Do you remember how old you was at this time? You heard me? Like your age? You remember how old you were at this time? You heard me?
Oh, I was 18. I was young, man. I was 18. So you imagine at 18, just getting started off, I'm in the studio, with Mr. 3-2 and little youngsters at the time. Like they were all hot. It was no telling who would pop in the studio. So of course, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to pop off. I got, I can learn from all these major rappers on something that I'm trying to do. And I was in a group there called the Flatland Cartel out of Lafayette. And, we were doing our thing and back and forth from school. And, at the time, I didn't have a place to stay. And I was sleeping at the studio a lot of times. And that just didn't work out. I ended up having to go home, and we lost ties. People went to jail. Life started happening. At that time I was in survival mode. trying to eat, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of just fell through. And kind of everybody just moved on. But then, you know, I ended up moving back to Beaumont and, you know, still trying to rap and do my thing. Well, I was staying in the projects there in Beaumont, and the barbershop, there was a barbershop if you just walk through the fence, and it was owned by the producer Note D. He was major in the Houston run as far as producing. So, you know, link up with him and, you know, go in his barbershop. Hey, I rap, you know, and I spit a couple lines for him. And he was like, oh man, you already got your own image and all of this. Man, bring me some music. Well, at the time, I don't have no music, so I got to figure something out. So I went to Best Buy, bought a studio program, you know, didn't really know how to work it. Got in there probably, you know, 2 or 3 days, and I made him a 10-track demo and brought it in there to him. And, you know, he was like, man, listen, this Friday, I'm going to take you home with me. We're going to go to the studio and we're going to get in the lab. And I was like, cool. So this is like a Tuesday. Well, that Thursday, we got evacuated for Hurricane Rita. Left there, never came back. So that's an opportunity that's supposed to pop off with a major, you know, with a major producer. Didn't work out once again, you know. So now I'm back in Alexandria, back in survival mode. Then they had a talent show come to town, ran by Mr. Lee, another major producer. He's from Alexandria, major producer out of Houston, produced for, you know, Slim Thug, Bun B, you know, all the major artists down that way. And we ended up winning that, you know, me and my good friend of mine ended up winning that talent show, and we won 3-track demo deal, feature from a major artist, which was Bun B. But, you know, at the time that didn't, they weren't moving as fast as I thought they should. And I said some things as a young man that I shouldn't have said. And, you know, knowing now, I can look back and say I was wrong, but I meant everything I said then, you know, because, you know, as a man, I meant what I said because it wasn't moving like I thought it should. I was so hungry at the time. And, you know, that didn't pan out. You know, we got
Let me ask you let me ask you, did you know that right offhand, or did you have to grow and mature a little?
I had to grow and mature. I had to grow and mature, man, because, you know, I said some things I couldn't take back, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, at the time, you know, I was standing on how I felt, and at the time it felt like the right thing to do. You know, we got our one song out the 3-track demo deal, and everybody cut ties and went different ways. But, you know, everybody was kind of going through some things at the time, and I was impatient. But, you know, I was so hungry. Like, man, I put it like this: for that talent show, I called the guy that was running, and I was like, listen, man, it's $100 to enter this talent show. Is it going to be square business? Because look, it's my last, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't have money to play with. I can't play around. And at the end of the day, you know, I wasn't saying they was trying to get over. It just wasn't moving how I needed it to move, man. Like, I need this thing to take off. I got a child at home I got to feed, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to eat, and I can't wait on this. Like, it's now or never, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it didn't work out. You know, coming back now, I can say, man, I was dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I can't take that back. But like I said, that didn't work out. Then, you know, my lawyer, he was doing music law at the time, and he came to me and said, hey man, I got a plug at Warner Brothers. He was like, listen, they've been looking at Hurricane Chris, his stuff, his music they feel like Jig is about to be the new thing in music. They want a Jig music artist. And I was like, man, I don't really do that. So I hit the lab hard for about a month. And that's the only kind of music I was making, you know what I'm saying? And came back, had a demo together. And I was like, man, I'm finna be plugged in with Warner Brothers. Got the music to him. And then he come back, he was like, hey man, they scrapped the whole idea. They're not even doing that department no more. So man, my heart was broken, and you know, I was tired, man.
You still ain't trying to put the music out though? The music that you did you still put that out, or you just scrapped that as well?
No, I didn't necessarily scrap it. I ended up me and the other artists that I was in the group with, we ended up putting out a 2 disc a double disc mixtape. It was 25 songs on each one. Like I had my own solo mixtape with him featured on it. He had his, and we put it out as a double disc set. And I mean, it did well in the city of Alexandria. But that was back in the time when we was hand-to-hand combat selling CDs outside of the stores. So, we probably hand sold 500 to 700 of those, just by hand, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, it did well. People knew who I was at home. I was a local legend, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. So I mean, it did well. And, so now, I mean, you have all those major opportunities. I was kind of just sick of music and had got out of it for a while. And, I wouldn't say I gave up on my dream. I just felt like my dream was done with me. It just wasn't for me. It's time to go. I got these kids. I'm working every day, trying to get a career. And, I just started supporting the other artists around me. And I was trying, I was like, if I'm gonna do music, I'm gonna just ghostwrite for somebody. But I would write all these songs and send them to these artists, and they would be like, hey man, listen, that's a great song, but you just need to get in the studio and record that song yourself. Like, so hanging around them, one of my good friends, Jay Will Special, he called me to come sit in the studio with him one day, sat there all day and get to the end of his session. He like, hey man, I know you got a verse for this, jump on this song. So, get on the song, and now I got that itch again. And, I come home, I tell my wife, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna give it one more push and give it everything I got, you know what I'm saying? And see where it take me. If it take me somewhere, it's cool. If not, I tried. And she was like, it's about time. So got in the lab. I did two rap projects. I finished the album, and then I came back and did a compilation album. I called it Well Connected. So it was 11 tracks. We went in and recorded it all in one day, and every song had a feature from it from a different Alexandria artist.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this right quick. You heard me? When you was doing your rap thing, do you still do your rap thing?
That's the good thing about being signed to the label. I'm back with Jeter Jones. Man, they don't try to box me into anything. They let me do whatever I'm gonna do because he's like, man, they play all that music at the trail ride.
Yeah.
So you can rap if you want to. And and that was the good thing. Like after I got back into the studio, I finished those 2 projects, and then I made a trail ride blues song by accident.
Now wait. Now hold up. Let's back up. I got questions for all this. Yeah.
Come on, we good, man.
Yes, sir. When you was rapping, right? Your style, how you did it when you did it, how you do it. You heard me? What would you define that as? You heard me? Were you a hip hop artist? Were you a conscious rapper? Were you a gangster rapper? You know what I'm saying? If you could put a definition on how you did it when you was rapping, what would
I was a Louisiana rapper. So we touched on street music. It was a lot of party music in there. And the thing about Central Louisiana, we draw our culture from everywhere. We get some from Southern Louisiana, but a lot of our culture comes from Houston. Alexandria is like a baby Houston. So we draw, we got
things like that though.
Yeah, we got a lot from the Houston culture. So man, I rapped about but I mainly did a whole lot of party music. And, that made the transition into trail ride blues easy for me because I just look at it as party music.
Wait, hold up now. You heard me? Because this is something new. I ain't never heard of this, and I guarantee you, my followers, we're looked up down over here. You understand me? Trail ride blues music, right? Can you elaborate on exactly what that is? You heard me? Because I heard that it came up by mistake. You see what I'm saying? So how you immediately make a whole nother genre of music? You heard me? Take us through that.
So Southern Soul has different subcultures. So you have the traditional Southern Soul, you have more of the blues side of Southern soul, then you have trail ride blues. So Southern soul, everybody knows King George. So Southern soul is more of the can't stay too long. I gotta keep moving. But then when you get into trail ride blues, you think about like boots on the ground, country girl. You think about, that is strictly music for the trail ride. That's why I call my album Trail Ride Music, because everything on there is to be played either on your way or when you get to the trail ride. So it's almost like you say, in the genre of rap, you have conscious rap and gangster rap. Like it's different. It's all Southern soul looped into one, but it's different. It's different subcultures of it.
Now let me stop you right there. You heard me? You say on our way, right? So let me ask you a couple of questions about your catalog, just with this new and improved, you understand me, trail ride blues music. You heard me? So boom,
Right.
let's say me and my girl, right? This is just an example. It's just an example. You see what I'm saying? Let's say,
Put that out there.
yeah, let's say me and wifey, we arguing, going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I roll me up a couple. I hop in the car, right? Give me a song out your catalog that I'm putting on in this situation and why. You heard me through my knee.
I had it's two of them that I have in my Southern Soul catalog. One of them is called "Lose Your Love." Uh, it's basically saying how since I met my wife, she makes me a better man, and I don't wanna lose your love. We go through ups and downs, and we've been through all these different situations, but we still together. Like I can't lose your love because I don't want to live and I don't want to breathe if it's without you. You know what I'm saying? And
Let me ask you this, right? I heard you. You did a tune earlier, right? Can we
right.
hit a couple of bars off of this song that you talk about? Lose your love. You heard me?
So it goes. I never really felt like I would ever find the one for me, but I can say it from the heart. With you is where I want to be. Don't know what I'd do if you would ever take your love from me. I would be so lost out here and feeling like I'm incomplete. Ever since you came around, I feel like I'm a better man. I love you more than life itself. Is what you got to understand. Say you never leave my side and that you'll always be right there. Baby girl, you're stuck with me because I ain't going anywhere. I don't want to lose your love. I don't want to live. I don't want to breathe if it's without you, girl. Lose your love. I will never leave. I promise that it's you and me against the world. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm big on communication, man. So, we got to talk and work this thing out because, we're not leaving. Ain't nobody going nowhere. We
I
together. We
think
getting there.
I think that if I played that song in that situation, I'm gonna turn my black ass around and go home. You understand me?
Go home, man, because ain't nothing out there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing out there but mistakes. You leave the house and in the argument, man. You can do nothing but go out there and do something you're gonna regret, man, and you can't come back from.
So all right, let me ask you this. You heard me? Let's say me and the bros, right? Getting fresh, smelling good, woo woo. Get in the car, we on our way. Let's to the trail ride. You understand me? Give me a song in your trail ride blues catalog. You heard me? And we gonna put on that situation and why. You heard me?
If you on your way, it's gonna be flying down I-49. It basically talks about I'm on my way to the trail ride and we made it just in time. It's a whole lot of people out here, you know what I'm saying? But we here now, you know what I'm saying? And we're ready to turn up and party, you know what I'm saying? Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You heard me? So let me ask you this. You heard me? Speak on your love for the music. You know what I'm saying? You quoted. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, because what you said that was deep. So I got it right here. Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. You said you love the music, but the music ain't love you back. You heard me? Can you elaborate on that? That was deep, though. You heard me? You say the music, you love the music, but the music ain't love you back. So have music, I'm going to say, have your love for the music diminished? Has it grown? Is it stayed the same? Can you elaborate on the music not loving you back and how you shook back from that?
So basically that touches back to the right place and the right time when you have all these different opportunities, and it's so many times where your emotions are way up here with it, and you like, man, this is my break. This is it. You know, the door, you see the door open and you can see your way into it. And as soon as you get ready to walk through it, the door slam in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's a different kind of hurt when you've been dreaming about something your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, like man, I always knew I would do music. I used to stand in, junior high and high school. I'd be in my room with music playing, acting like I'm performing in front of arenas. You know what I'm saying? So to be right there at the threshold of your dream and the door slamming your face, man, that's a different kind of hurt. Like, man, like what am I doing wrong? Maybe music just don't want me. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? So I took a step back and I started, kind of promoting other Alexandria artists and pushing them, like hoping maybe somebody could reach their dream. Because if somebody make it out, we all made it. You know what I'm saying? So, I wouldn't say I lost a lot of my drive for it, man. It was just like, I didn't know what I had to figure out who I was, because I didn't know what kind of space I was in, because it's hard as a rapper if you're not living that. If you're not living that. I don't go to the club. I can't talk about going to the club. I'm not in the streets, so I can't talk about being in the streets. So,
let me ask you this real quick. When you found yourself, right? What exactly did you find?
I found Trail Ride Blues. I found Trail Ride Blues, man. Because like I said, I got that itch again, and we got back in. We finished those 2 projects, and I was talking with my engineer, K. Sam, and he's a phenomenal artist, but he don't put a whole lot of music out. So he always lets me hear some music at the end of one of my sessions, or somebody from Alexandria, what they doing or whatever. And he let me hear some of his music. And I'm like, man, when you putting this out? He was like, man, I got to do some more writing. And I was like, man, I got R&B songs on deck from when I was ghostwriting. You can have them if you want them. And of course, like everybody else, man, you need to get in the studio and record them yourself. And I don't view myself as a good singer, as a great singer. So I never thought about going in the studio and recording.
Let me stop you right there. Nah, though. You your biggest critic, huh?
I am.
Yeah, I know. Stop saying that. Hold on, wait. Let me tell you something. Stop saying that. You can sing, my nigga. You can sing. You ain't no harmonizer. You not no how like the Rich Homie Quan. And this ain't no shot to them, but like the Futures, the Drakes, the Rich Homie Quan, they harmonize. You see what I'm saying? You can sing.
Right.
So you take it from me. I deal with music, been dealing with me. I interview a lot of singers.
Right.
One of them, my brother. Like, stop saying, yeah.
Right. Well, it's knowing, having the ear and knowing what music's supposed to sound like. I always felt like a backup singer, never like I'd be up front. So, talking to my engineer, I came home and talked to my wife about it. I was like, man, K. Sam want me to come in and sing on something. She was like, go do it. If you don't like it, what's the worst? You ain't gonna use it. So we went in there.
Not the backup singer, Street Boy.
Man, I feel like a backup singer. You know what I'm saying? Not the lead. Hey, bro, you gotta kind of, I'm big on keeping it real with myself first. You know what I'm saying? Before I can keep it real with somebody else. But man, we went in, like, I wrote a project. I was gonna do R&B. I did some reggae. I was gonna do rock and roll. I was gonna do all of these things, and I said I need something that's gonna tie me into Louisiana. So I wrote a record called Dance With Me. And, I never thought Southern Soul until I started looking for tracks. And it was a perfect blend with Southern Soul and Zydeco. So, man, we got in there, man, and we recorded that song, man. And man, everybody that heard it was losing their mind. Like, man, don't do nothing else, man. Forget that rap, do this Southern soul. So I did a follow-up record, and it was better, and it was just, it just kind of took off. And I started moving around. I moved to Freeport, and I started doing a lot of open mics. And I ran into Jeter Jones. He was doing a Taco Tuesday with an open mic, and it was trail ride night. Now I'm gonna be honest, and it's gonna be some people that's gonna jump on me. He may even jump on me, but coming from Central Louisiana, our trail rides sound different than everywhere else. Like, we don't listen to Southern soul. We book a lot of Zydeco blue. We book a lot of Zydeco bands. So I had never even heard of who Jeter Jones was.
That ain't no disrespect. That's
right.
a fact. I can vouch for that. Same down here. Same down here. We fuck with the Zydeco. You heard me?
So honestly, I didn't even know who Jeter Jones was. He just started popping up on my Facebook timeline all the time. So I would always think he was a host because he'd be talking, telling jokes, he'd be dancing, but I didn't realize I was catching his intro. So went to his open mic. It was trail ride night. They were giving away money. I told my wife, I'm about to go get some easy money. If it's trail ride night, I'm gonna go do these trail ride songs and get this money. Well, didn't know Jeter Jones sang until he did a set before the show. I'm like, damn, this dude sang for real. Like, I got to do my research and figure out who the hell this Jeter Jones is, man. And man, I did a couple of my songs, man. Of course, I won the money at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course you won the money. You heard me?
Yeah. So then I did my research and figured out, I'm like, man, Jeter Jones is big. He's the king of trail ride blues. Like, I had to start doing my homework on the genre, being that I just jumped off into it. And it just so happened he put out on his Facebook that he was looking for some artists. He needed 2 artists. And I almost didn't, somebody tagged me in, and I almost didn't send my music because it had a line on there that said, I'm looking for Southern soul artists, no rappers. And I was like, man, that ruled me out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna send nothing. But somebody told me, man, go and send your music. So I sent about 4 tracks, and man, he called me back so fast. I thought somebody was playing on my phone. I was like, who is this? It's Jeter Jones. I'm like, look at the phone. I almost hung up in his face, but
I'm gonna tell you this, Street Food, you heard me. I'm gonna tell you this. I've never heard your style of that music, right? That's why, and I did the same exact thing that he did. Soon as I heard that shit, I hit you up and asked you, what I hit you up, like Friday or Saturday? I said, look, Monday.
Monday, I want you on the show.
I need you Monday. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, though, like you one of them. You one of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's been dope. My music sounds a little bit different because I'm like, man, if I'm gonna do trail ride music, I want it to sound the way it sounds when I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? So I blend I do a lot of the traditional trail ride blues, but I blend a lot of Zydeco into it, and I'm a rapper at heart. And I do a lot of rapping in my music because if you think back in music, especially coming up in the 90s, some of the best collaborations were when singers did remixes to song and put rappers on the music. So I can kind of do the remix before on the original version. I can sing on the first one, I can rap on the second verse. I can do all of those things. So blending the music the way I blend it sounds authentic to where I'm from. So, and I get that a lot. Like, it's trail ride blues, but something tastes a little different about this recipe. What is this? Yeah, that's that. That's the Louisiana Creole spice. That's that Tony Sasser we put on that down here. You know what I'm saying?
You heard me? Yeah. So let me ask you this. You heard me? When you said that, your support system, the ones that got you back in the studio, you heard me? When you came up with this Southern Trail Ride blues, right? What did that do for you personally? I won't ask that. And what does the music do for you personally? But like, that's two. It may sound like the same question, but that's two different questions. Yeah. What does the music do for you personally? You heard me? Just generally, you heard me? Is it a therapy? Is it a way to get your voice heard? Yourself saying. But first answer, when you came back and it clicked in you, you heard me, and you got your stride back. What did that do for you personally? You heard me?
Man, it was a different type of motivation. Because I had doors opening for me now that felt different. Like I was still hesitant to walk through, but I was actually able to step through the door and look around like, yeah, it is nice in here, but I don't want to, I want to I don't really want to sit on the furniture. I don't really want to touch nothing. Do I need to take my shoes off? It was just a different kind of vibe when the doors open.
A true Louisiana nigga, you heard me?
Right. Right. So it was different this time when the doors opened. I was able to kind of walk through them, and it was a shock factor, and it feels good. Like Trail Ride Blues just feels good. Like I don't have to force anything. I don't have to talk about violence. I can still make these same party records, but we can really have be about a good time, and personally, I'm able to express myself through my music. If I'm having a bad day, I can go put that on music. With things that you can't talk to. Like I learned, you can't talk to everybody about everything. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people use that, man. When people get mad at you, man, they'll use your problems as ammunition on you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really closed off as far as telling my business and how I feel with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'd be like, especially in the Black community, you tell somebody you depressed, you know what I'm saying, dealing with all these mental things, and they'll come back, oh, sad ass nigga, this, that, and the other, and they just use that against you, or they go tell everybody, not everybody know your business. Like I'm from cities where they big, but they small enough where everybody know your name, you know what I'm saying? And by the end of the day, everybody know your business and what you're going through. So I much rather go talk on wax and lay all my emotions out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's therapeutic, it's expression, it's artistic. Like I love the creative process. I love to create music, especially, if people gonna vibe out to it, then I really love it. You know what I'm saying? So, I just love the creative process. So it's therapeutic. It's all of those things for me in one, most definitely.
So let me ask you that in another way. Yes, you know what I'm saying? I asked you what the music do for you personally, but what goal do you have to your viewer and your listener? You see what I'm saying? What message, if any, do you want to put out through your music? You see what I'm saying? What picture are you trying to paint through your music to your viewer and your listener? You hear me?
Man, I'm just promoting a good time, man. Good time and good vibes. Every now and then I'll get a little more in depth and talk about real life situations. Like when I signed with the label, the first song that we put out was a reggae song. And it was breakup music, you know what I'm saying? Like it was basically saying, I'm like, every now and then I'll tap into real life situations and really harp on that and make something people can connect with. Like you done been through something like that, you can connect with it. But for the first album, man, it was just, I wanted to be all party vibes. Like Jeter fussed at me. Like we sat down and listened to my album, man, and he fussed at me. He was like, man, you ain't slow it down on none of these songs. I was like, man, because I didn't want to. That's why I call it trail ride music. I want you to be able to play the whole album at the trail ride, all party music, all gas, no brakes, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I did, man. And I mean, people are really receiving it well, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody like a different song on there, but I was really able to put me into it and put all of me into it, all, everything that I love musically. I was able to do that on that record, and it showed, man. It really showed on that album.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So let me ask you this, you heard me? What sets you aside from every other trail ride or Southern soul artist? You know what I'm saying? What makes you different? What are you bringing different to the Southern soul table that they already being served on the plate. You heard me?
Definitely, like you say, it definitely a different kind of swagger. But like I said, everywhere you go, trail rides sound different. So Alabama, Mississippi, like everybody has their own sound and it's geared a certain way and it's geared towards the line dances and a lot of that, so when you hear my music, it's infused with all of that Zydeco, like, some Zydeco records make it out there to the East and because they're that good. But, when you hear the way I blended it, it just sounds so different. And you like, I don't know what it is about it. And when I say it's infused with a lot of Zydeco, they're like, oh, that's what it is. So, it's like I said, I make it sound like, I make music sound like what it sounds like when I'm at home. And I'm really one of the few Southern soul artists from my area. I mean, there's also Ice Dog that's from Alexandria, but I'm one of the few that's from my area. And I'm giving you what it sounds like to me at home. So you can't get that from anybody else because you don't hear it how I hear it. And, good thing about being at JBE is they don't try to box me in. They let me be myself and do music the way that I want to do it, because at the end of the day, they play all of that at the trail ride. But what also gives me a leg up is I'm signed with the king of trail ride blues. You know what I'm saying? So I get to have a front row seat on the way you're supposed to be doing things, and not necessarily to do it just like he's doing it, but I can watch how he entertains his fans, how he interacts with his fans, why they love him like that, and he always pushes us to just be yourself, man. Don't try to be like anybody else out here, man. They gonna love you for who you are. And I was always big on being a trendsetter. I never wanted to chase the trend and be like everybody else. So I always just do my own thing, you know what I'm saying? And they responding to that,
That's a fact. That's a fact. You heard me? So let me ask you this. You heard me? Through it all, you know what I'm saying? Through the rap, the R&B, the trail ride blues, you knowing what you know right now, right? What advice would you give yourself? You heard me? That young man just starting out. You heard me? If you knowing what you can know now, if you can go back and give yourself when you first started off the biggest piece of advice, what would that be? You heard me?
Keep doing it the way just like you're doing it. Just don't change a thing, because all of those things that you go through, it's all stepping stones, and it's all building blocks to build you into the person that you are. And it's all a part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like you can never fast track the journey. It's never on your time. It's on God's time. So just keep doing it, because all of those things are there to prepare you for the opportunity that you're in. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it now because of everything that I went through. I know how to listen now. When Jeter and the VP of the label tell me, hey man, you don't need to do that, I can listen now, because I don't have that ego to where I'm gonna say something to them that I don't mean and I can't take back. You know what I'm saying? I can listen and learn, because and you've been there. So I mean, just keep doing exactly what you're doing, because one day it's gonna pay off. It took 20 years, but it paid off. You know what I'm saying? So, I would never try to move myself away from the journey, because I needed all of that to be the artist that I am today.
That's real. That's real, my brother. So, for you viewers and your listeners, right? What could we be expecting from you in the near future? You heard me?
Man, look, we just lining up these shows. It's trail ride season now, so we just lining up these shows. On the 13th, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. On the 14th, I'm in Alexandria, Louisiana. The 21st, we in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just look for me to be coming to a city near you. If you see me on the lineup, man, you better come on.
You ever performed in New Orleans?
I haven't. I haven't been that far south Louisiana yet, man.
I'm trying to make that happen for you.
Right.
Let's do it. When you
Right.
look at your calendar, you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring Southern soul music to New Orleans. dog.
It's definitely a good time.
I'm trying to bring it here. We call it. I think that would be equivalent to our what we call ball music. You heard me? But like they don't know about y'all. They gonna know now. Yeah, they're like especially you. Like no disrespect, but you like the most thugged out ass Southern soul artist I ever saw, dog. Like you a gangster with it, you heard me? But you from the boot, so like you got like a cheat code, you dig? So man, dog, before we get up out of here, dog, I enjoyed your time, dog. Beautiful story. We all having I am having Southern Soul Night Wednesday on my radio show. So I'm gonna need you to send me a couple of your songs to the email, you heard me. And if you free, man, come on down, be a guest, you heard me. But I want to bring Southern soul music to New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? So Wednesday, we do something that's called Play My Catalog. So I'm gonna just play all the Southern soul music from the interviews I got, you heard me.
Okay.
Yeah, let them know where they can find you at, you heard me. You know what I'm saying, how to book you. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what you got coming up. You see what I'm saying? Just let them know, man, it's your time to shine. You're my judge. You heard me 100.
Right, definitely. I enjoyed it too. I'm Buddy Lee 318, man. You can find me on all social media platforms at Buddy Lee 318, man. Reach out to me. I'll reach back. If you want to book me, you know, just tap in and reach out to me. I don't do no business in my messenger, so you can hit me up and you can look on my page and you can find all the numbers there. Like I say, I'm a Jones Boy Entertainment, you know what I'm saying? JBE for life, man. So y'all go tap in, you know, check out Jeter Jones, check out D Riggs, check out J Live, the Gentleman, Botan Wright, the Shade, man. Just check all my people out. The phenomenal time of Tasha Mack, man. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all, man. It's been an honor. It's a blessing to be here, man. Thank y'all for the support. Check out my album, Trail Ride Music. It is out on all musical platforms, wherever you listen to your music at, man. Thank y'all, man.
Then let the general to know that the podcast. You keep your body clean, nah? Yeah.
Really comfortable with all of that thing. What you trying to say? Yeah, I want to congratulate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Really?
Yeah. I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke. And I'm looking at the screen like preach, cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that you getting up there and keeping it all the way phone. What them little niggas be saying? He ain't cloud chase, he ain't capping, he ain't doing none of that. Like he ain't trying to make himself look. You know, he letting his legacy.